In this video, I'll tell you your first and possibly last mistake when dating a Filipina. Now, what I talk about here is not during the process of searching for a Filipina, either online or in person, where your first big mistake there may be diving in too fast to commence a relationship. But I'll leave that for another video. What I refer to in this video is when you find a genuine Filipina either online or in person, and then make a rather common mistake that I've seen many foreign guys do that can lead to many problems for your Filipina and possibly even some for you. So to find out what this very common and tragic first mistake is, be sure to buckle up and stay with me here. Now just quickly before I dive into the video, if you're searching for a Filipina, then why not check out my affiliate link in the pinned comment and description to the Philippines' #1 dating site. It's the only dating site that I recommend, and you'll be sure to find your Filipina soulmate without all the stress and frustration of scammers that you'll find on many other dating sites. Now into the video we go. And the shame of what I'm about to talk about here is that usually it happens to very caring men who have a good heart. It's never designed to destroy a Filipina, but more so to improve her situation in life, but in reality, it can cause her great hardship. Often, when we first connect with the Filipina, we can be rather shocked when we realise just how much of a struggle that she may have. Everything from where she lives to the long hours and hard work she has to do in order to get what we would consider very low pay. After paying her bills, she may struggle to buy clothes or some nice things for herself, and certainly for many Filipinas, the thought of being able to save money is not a reality. As the weeks and months go by, as we get to know more of the Filipina and see more of her life, it can be rather shocking to us when we see the struggle is real, and it can be rather confronting. Our emotions can take over, and we start thinking of the many ways that we can help her in her life to make things easier, which of course is the sign of a caring and compassionate man. But what we need to realise here is that when we act on emotion, we often lose the logic. Simply, we stop thinking rationally and don't consider the consequences. To a rather naive foreign guy, he'll automatically think of giving her money on a monthly basis to help improve her life. Now, whilst I don't recommend doing this until you've met in person and are 100% sure in the Filipina and the relationship, it's certainly not the worst thing in the world that I've seen many foreign guys do. At the end of the day, if the relationship breaks down and you lose money, as most likely in any relationship, and then you both go your separate ways without any real damage being done. But just a word of warning here, guys. In my opinion, if you do decide to send money, always keep it at an amount that you can easily afford and won't be missed. I do see some guys after a few short months sending reasonably large amounts of money to his Filipina and leaving himself sometimes short. Now this of course won't affect the Filipina if things go wrong down the track, but it will leave you in a much worse financial position. So be wise with your choices here, guys. Where it can get rather bad, especially for the Filipina, is when a loving and caring foreigner feels so bad for his Filipina's position in life that he wants to make substantial changes to improve her life that go far beyond sending a few thousand pesos a month. These guys will be so affected by the fact that the Filipina who he's developing feelings for, or perhaps has fallen in love with, where she works so hard for very little money and is living in what he may see as substandard housing. In his mind, he sees the wage she gets from working 6 or maybe 7 days a week, and that can be 12-hour days, and he sees this as being criminal. She may bring home around 12,000 pesos as an example, which is around 300 US a month, and he may think to himself that she doesn't need to work such long and hard hours for such money when he can send it to her instead. And you need to know that this is the same thing that can often happen when guys are physically dating a Filipina in the Philippines. He may be an expat or even met her on vacation, and now he wants to take her travelling for several weeks. He then finds out that she can't just up and take vacation time because it doesn't work that way in the Philippines. So he says for her to leave a job, and of course, many Filipinas will do this as they want to please their man. But the problem right here is that neither the man nor the Filipina are thinking this through carefully. One must know that work in the Philippines is not easy to come by, and work for many Filipinas creates independence, which many are very proud of. So what happens when the Filipina leaves her job, and perhaps it's a job that she's had for some years, is that now she's totally 100% reliant on you for her income. She can't get any assistance from the government, and now because she relies on you, she's lost that independence she was so proud of. And all of this just in a few short months of meeting a foreign boyfriend. Now the foreigner will feel really good about himself because he sees her life is much easier, but now he wants to take it one step further. He can't stand to see her sleeping in substandard housing, pumping water from the well or washing clothes by hand, and now he makes another massive mistake. He tells her to find an apartment or a house where he will cover her rent. She's now a lady of leisure, not having to work, has a nice place to live, and the two of them can travel around as they wish. It all sounds rather perfect. That is, until something goes wrong with the relationship and the couple break up. From his point of view, it's not a big problem, and he'll pick himself up and move on. But think about the position that this Filipina is now in. She's come from having a regular job that paid a regular income that she can be very proud of, to no longer having a job to buy food or pay her bills. She's given up where she was living and entered into a rental agreement for possibly 6 to 12 months that somehow she now needs to find the money for, or she could be one of the millions living on the streets. Your good intentions that were confused by your emotions has now led to this Filipina to be in a terrible position. How can she possibly afford to live now? Now, of course, the right thing to do here is to help her for several months till she can get back on her feet. But so many guys after such a breakup will just walk away, leaving her with a giant problem to solve on her own. One needs to understand right here that the right thing to do would have been not to have asked her to leave her job or move into a rental property at the very start. The truth is that the Filipina has survived well enough before you ever came into the picture. For sure, as the relationship develops over the months, your help can increase, but to make such massive changes in her life should only be done, in my opinion, once you guys are married or living together in a serious relationship. And even then, there are some laws about living together in the Philippines if you're not married that can affect you and be rather costly. So be sure to use your logic over emotions and think through the situation carefully, and especially so if you truly care for the Filipina. Everything may be rosy at the start, but one never knows where it will end. And certainly, either way, the caring thing to do is to consider the Filipina in all of this from the very start. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.